Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And do you remember how last year the head of Ubisoft said you needed to get comfortable with not owning your games?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, literally you don't own your games. It's coming out during a lawsuit, I guess, that Ubisoft is admitting that, yeah, you don't own your games. You might pay $70 for that download, but it's not your game. You're renting it, leasing it.
So what if you buy a physical copy of it?
Well, considering most of their games can't be played without an internet connection, I don't know. We're going to look into this. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to talk about how Nintendo is, or an actual former Nintendo, PR manager, was throwing shade at Ubisoft and their business practices. They're saying, yeah, we charge more for our games, but we think that there's value there with our games compared to Ubisoft. So we'll talk about all of that. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So let's talk about this. So last January. According to Insider Gaming, Ubisoft's director, it was the director of subscriptions, Philippe Tremblay, spoke at length about the state of play in the digital global landscape and said that, yeah, you need to get used to not owning your games.
So this is kind of like digital copies of DVDs and stuff that they can just go in and change it when they feel like it, because you're renting it if you have a subscription, not if you don't actually own the physical copy.
Yeah, and people don't realize that, and they were in for a rude awakening. I know Sony pulled a lot of movies, it was a couple of years ago, from I think the PlayStation Store, and it's like you basically lost the ability, as I recall, to watch those movies you thought you owned, but you don't. And it's the same with Kindle. It's the same with any kind of like digital product you buy, unless it's like a DRM free PDF or something like that, right? And even Kindle's not doing that now, but you're basically just paying to have access to that product for as long as you have the service, or that service is around. They go out of business completely. Guess what? You might have lost thousands of dollars. And that's just it, right? But so many of the games now, they require an internet access anyway to play them, right? Mm-hmm. So it's because I was bummed. I was telling people in another gaming channel video, we had the power go out a couple of weeks ago. There's no power for about 2 days, and I'm like, whoa. This is fine because I've got my Switch and my Switch is charged and I can play my Switch games. No, the games I wanted to play, I couldn't play because we didn't have the internet. Mm-hmm. Even though the game was on, that was downloaded, we didn't have the internet, so it couldn't check to see if I actually owned it. And that's just kind of
that's concerning. I just meant like having a physical copy, like
right.
Old games, you had a physical copy, you could play it even if they weren't logged in.
We need to go back to that.
Yeah.
We
they're really not going that. They're going the opposite. Everything's digital, so you have to pay the same as you would a physical copy or more, and then they can take it away from you anytime. They can make changes to it at any time, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but this is what he said. He said they got comfortable. People got comfortable not owning CD collections or DVD collections. That's a transformation that's been a bit slower to happen in games. Well, yeah, and we're finding out why. As gamers grow comfortable, you don't lose your progress. If you resume your game at another time, your progress file is still there unless they lose it or something. Mm-hmm. It's not been deleted unless they lose it or something. You don't lose what you've built in the game or your engagement with the game. So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game.
See, I never understood that. Like, our son would want to buy digital copies, and there's a physical copy available. I mean, I get why it's easier, but I always was like, but you can't resell that. Like, if you decide you won't play the game anymore and you beat the game and you never play it again, because there's games he's had for years that he never picked up again. Yeah. It's like you beat it, you don't want it anymore, you can't sell it, there's no secondary market.
Well, it's more insidious than that now, because now it's like, you might have to have that physical copy just to avoid having to pay, for like PlayStation Network forever or something, and that's what they do. Like, you buy games, you have games, or whatever. It's like, okay, now you got to have this service forever. You have to pay for it every month or you'll lose your stuff you bought.
Yeah. See, to me, that's you're going to pay way more if you just bought the physical copy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand not everything has a physical copy, but I never understood why people would want to go digital and not physical.
Well, it is a pain in the butt. Like I know, like with the Switch, for example, it's a portable system, and I've got a lot of games actually, stored on the memory card, and it's so easy to just go out to the home screen, pick a game or whatever.
Right.
In this case, it's like, all right, I got to pop the cartridge out and go.
No, I get it. I get the ease, but I'm just saying long term, I think you're going to end up spending less, and that they make changes. And you don't like it, you still have your physical copy.
Yeah. I think we need to go back to that. I really do. But Nintendo is going to make it very, very hard with the next generation. But this is Ubisoft. Then we'll talk about Nintendo. Their former PR guy throwing shade at them. So Rock Paper Shotgun has the article. Ubisoft's lawyers have responded to a legal action from players of defunct racing game The Crew by insisting that those players never owned the game in the first place. The players made their lawsuit to complain about the game being made unplayable when servers were shut down last year, but Ubisoft have now responded to argue that the game was only licensed to those playing, and players should never have expected it to be online forever.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have expected it to be online forever either.
Yeah.
Historically, they shut the servers down eventually.
Well, I mean, this is kind of like reminds me of WiiWare and the Virtual Console and the Wii. Like you can still play those games, but there's no support or anything. It's
but they're not allowed to play it either. Apparently.
Yeah, it's just gone, right? And then what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, maybe we'll make it. I'm not talking about this game. I'm talking like in the case of Nintendo, especially like, oh, we'll just make it available to buy again for our next generation console. Like,
right? You bought it once, you have to pay it again. Yeah.
How many times have you bought Ocarina of Time? It's like you have to.
If you buy it 3 or 4 times, do you get a free copy?
You should.
Like a punch card.
Yeah, because I mean, people are still playing games from 30, 40, 50 years ago in some cases, and I can't imagine any of these being online in that
The trend is going back to the retro games, and this kind of stuff is exactly why.
Yeah.
Because one, they don't have value outside, and then they can be taken down. The servers could be gone. You can't resell them. They'll say you don't own anything. They can make changes willy-nilly at any point in time, patch it, and say, oh, well, too bad for you if you don't like the new, pronoun upgrade or something. And it's too bad. And where if you play the retro games, it just is what it is. You don't have to have the internet necessarily. You don't have to have different things. You just go play the game and have fun.
Yeah.
And it's self-contained. You put it on your save card or whatever, and you don't have to deal with all this shit.
Yeah. So they tried to get dismissed. I don't think it worked. So the Crew's ordinary intended purpose was to provide consumers with a revocable limited license to access the content, pursuant to the unmistakable warnings on the product packaging in Ubisoft's terms of service, terms of use. Plaintiffs received just that for years, and Ubisoft therefore provided the Crew consistent and fit for its ordinary advertised purpose.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win this one as far as people suing Ubisoft, because if they did have it posted in the fine print, which I think you're going to find this is not unusual, they probably won't win.
So the plaintiffs make a counter argument that some vouchers for the game had an expiration date of 2099.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, they might.
Which implies the statute of limitations is not up. Ubisoft made it unplayable when it took servers offline last year, ending 10 years of support for the open world racing game. It started disappearing from game libraries shortly afterward, making any hope of a fan preservation movement more unlikely. That actually happened with Ultima Online. I was talking about Ultima, and God, I loved Ultima so much. But yeah, there's another company that took over Ultima from Origin, from EA, and then a lot of people have private shards, and that's usually what happens with these MMO games. Is they have such a dedicated fan base. They're like, well, if you don't want to support it officially, then we'll just
but a lot of times they go after them and take it away, like Disney did with the
Club Penguin.
Penguin. But wait, was Ultima the one where you were a girl and had a dog named Rabies?
Yeah, but I was a hot girl, and I only did it because dudes would give me cool stuff.
You wouldn't like it if dudes started sending me cool stuff.
No. We weren't married. I didn't even know you. I don't think.
No, but I mean, now, if I said, "Hey, send me cool stuff," and a bunch of dudes did, you'd get mad about it.
Well, they would. That's the problem. They would send you. They do send. They actually send you cool stuff, and they send me cool stuff, and they send the kids cool stuff, and we appreciate it. But yeah,
I don't have a dog named Rabies. I have a dog named.
We should.
Sir Charles Toasty Butternuts Pendragon III Esquire, and Was it Duke Daniel Dog Vito something?
Duke Daniel Dog.
We have called Vivi.
We get another dog someday. We're gonna name it. We're
not naming the dog
just to scare
Rabies.
people. Like, oh, don't make me call Rabies.
But back to the point of this, if they did have a card in there, if they did for the voucher and it had the expiration date of 2099 on it, then that is a problem for them because they promised with that, even if it was a joke, they were going to keep it going for a while because they had that you can use this voucher to 2099.
Yeah, but this is going to happen more and more, especially with Ubisoft. I mean, Ubisoft is not in a good place right now financially, and with them doing this 10-cent thing, I have to wonder if they'll just be like, well, this is a new company, and it was the old company that promised you
they
access
probably will.
forever. Yeah.
They probably will. I can see them doing that for sure. I also think Nintendo is going to have problems with the Switch too because I don't think people are going to support it. Not just from the cost, but because it's all digital and people are finding more and more issues with the digital game. You know, having everything digital has been a problem because you can't resell it. It doesn't always mean that you get to keep the game, et cetera, et cetera. I just don't know if people are going to support the Switch 2 the way they think they are.
Yeah, I mean, they're already saying they had Doug Bowser come out, and I did a video on that, saying that, hey, yeah, if you can't afford a Switch 2, we still have the Switch 1. Basically,
I think you're better to have the old stuff. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
So this is a former Nintendo PR manager says that this isn't Ubisoft, says the company's mantra of respect the value holds. So, okay, there's a pair of leads. It said former Nintendo of America marketing leads Kit Ellis and Krista Yang have talked about the price point of Nintendo Switch 2 games, which will see an expected price jump compared to the Switch 1 games. The pricing, according to Ellis, reflects the Kyoto-based company's long-running mantra that the pricing reflects the quality of the games. While the price increases on software were expected by many, the jump in price is certainly higher than most people expected.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Are these games digital only?
No, the digital is like for Mario Kart World, they're talking $80.
Well, I'm just
digital,
asking
90
because
physical.
Okay, because I was going to say, because I always get so flippin' pissed when the digital copy costs about the same as the physical copy when there's no way it costs them as much. It's stupid. Like the digital copy should be way less than the physical copy. But even $90 is ridiculous. But then again, compared to the 80s, that's probably about right.
Well, there were games. I mean, this is where it gets tricky because there were games in the 90s that were $90, $100.
Right, and that would be like $150 or more now.
Like everything is like, and then, can you imagine Neo Geo games? They were like $300 back then.
I don't know how they could afford it.
Very, very rich kids had Neo Geos and people that were like diehard arcade enthusiasts. I mean, it was actual arcade hardware. It was pretty amazing, but I don't think I know anyone who had one when I was growing up. I saw them in the game store and stuff. And I saw the cartridges at EB and they were big ass cartridges, but yeah, $150 to $300 for one game.
That's
cost
insane.
of a console. Anyway, this is what they said. They said Nintendo products have immense value, and we must always respect that immense value. This is why these things don't go on sale. The value is the value, and we're seriously into that concept of respect the value of what this thing is that we have made because it's very special. This isn't Ubisoft.
Wait, but the value of the value of the value. Did I mention the value? It's a value, guys, at $90. Unlike Ubisoft, our stuff's a value, and that's why our games cost more because you're getting a value. Did we tell you about the value?
Yeah, I mean,
stuff?
Look. Do I think Mario Kart World is probably going to be pretty good? Yeah, I think it is. It's the first new Mario Kart that's come out in a long time.
I know it's the only one that I think the kids and you would be excited about.
Yeah, even I love Donkey Kong, but I'm not super excited about the Donkey Kong game. I don't know why. It's just something like I'd rather see another Donkey Kong Country style like 2D game.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it was Donkey Kong Country, you'd be about it.
Yeah,
what was the one with the drums? You'd like that one too.
Oh, Jungle Beat. That's my all-time favorite. Donkey
if it
Kong
was
game.
that,
God,
I think you'd be into it. But.
You have to play it with the bongos, though. I tried because they had the Wii version. They re-released it for Wii with controller. I'm like, this just doesn't work for me. Like, you really need the bongos for this game. I have
bongos, just not the right kind.
Right. So yeah, they said you're conditioned to buy it at full price because it's not going to go on sale. I would say no, that's not really correct. Like Nintendo games, they're I guess gold tier games or platinum tier games. They don't go on sale very often. They do go on sale occasionally, but back in the day, they used to make them greatest hits.
Yes, I was thinking when they said that, I was thinking they do go on sale, though.
A couple of years. I mean, it takes a couple of years, but yeah.
And honestly, truth is, because I always go and find all this stuff on special. If you look and if you know where to look in the right places, you'll get a deal, especially around the holidays.
On physical, too, because you're never going to get a deal, really. I mean, sometimes they put the digital copies on sale, but if you're going to get a good deal on Amazon or something,
it's going to be physical.
It's going to be a physical copy.
But if you know where to look, you'll find it.
Yeah, there you go. You know how to find those deals.
I do. I'm very good at it.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up?
Yes.
All right. Get used to not owning your games, guys. Can you imagine if Steam just went out of business someday? That'd be awful.
Don't even say that to our kids. They'd probably have a panic attack.
All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.